here? Okay, so what I want to show you is how to use some of your tube greens of paint to get more natural looking greens. If you have a color like phthalo green or Windsor green, it's going to be a bluish green. Can you see that? Too cold for the plants and nature that's outside. But these colors can be very useful if you're mixing them. So I might take any of my warm colors, and I just put a few of these warm colors out here, and if I mix that green with those, I'm going to get a more natural looking green. So let's take a look. The first was I took a little Indian yellow and mixed a little of that phthalo green into it, and it's going to be a light green, but it's going to be a warmer green. Okay, so that's one option. Here I'm taking some quinacridone gold. You may or may not have that, but it's a very nice color. It's transparent. And again, it's warming up that green. Look how nice a green that comes. It's almost like an olive green. Can you see that looks so much more natural than that? This is good for man-made objects. This really looks more like nature. We can take burnt sienna, which is another warmer color than the green. It's got a little orange in it, and mix a little of this green into it. I usually start with the other color because that phthalo green is so overpowering that if you use that first, you need a gallon of the other color. So I just put a little of that in. Look at a nice, rich, natural green that gets me.
And what color was that?
That was burnt sienna with the phthalo green. And phthalo green and Windsor green are the same. I also have a burnt quinacridone burnt orange. It's like burnt sienna, only it's a little bit darker and a little bit more transparent. And that should get me a nice, rich, like if you're doing some pine trees and you need a rich, dark. Again, look at that nature of that green, how warm that is compared to that. And then even if you wanted almost a neutral, if you took your alizarin crimson, which is a red, and we said on the color wheel red was the opposite of green, and you mix those two together, let's put a little bit more green in there, you're going to get almost a black-like green. Look how dark that is. And you could actually push it to a neutral. But all of these greens are much more pleasing and much more natural looking than that. The other benefit of mixing from this as a base is if you mix with any of these colors, all of these colors will be naturally related. It's kind of like there's, one father and all these different mothers. They all have a bit of that in here. So if you used all of these in your painting, they're all going to naturally harmonize. And you are going to want different types of greens in your painting. Green is one of the things you get tired of right away in a painting, but there's so much of it out in nature. So start looking at where you have your lighter, brighter greens and where you have some of your deeper, darker greens. But what they have in common is they're all going to be warmer than starting just purely with that phthalo green. Okay?
Yeah, what was the one next to